Facebook Live. Facebook Live. Come on in, y'all. Cool. So I'll go ahead and get started. One of the questions that I get asked probably the most is about forgiveness and forgiving people. And I want to be practical. When I talk about this, I want to be practical in what I say concerning this particular topic. Because here's the truth that I'll share with you that a lot of people don't realize. It's really hard to recognize the deficiencies of other people when you're looking through the eyes of your pain. So when you're looking through the eyes of your pain at what somebody has done to you, or how they've handled you, how they've mistreated you, how they've disrespected you, how they've dishonored you, granted, I understand those feelings, and trust me, those feelings are warranted and they are accepted. But when you're looking at folk that done violated you and that have hurt you, and I guess I have an opportunity to do this because I've walked through a lot of pain in my life. And a lot of the pain that I've experienced have been at the hands of people that I love, that I trusted, and that are key people in my life. And when they are key people in your life, what do? I mean, you still have to deal with them. You still have to see them. You still have to talk to them. So I had to learn at an early age and at an early time in my life how to deal with pain, and how to deal with the fact that I still have to deal with my violators, those that have mistreated me and mishandled me. And here's the governing factor for what I'm saying. Sometimes it takes and it requires us to live inside of the shoes of those that hurt us. Listen, because here's the thing. It's unfair. Oh, and I know a lot of folk ain't gonna like what I'm finna say. It's unfair for you to expect an apology, remorse, or anything like that from someone who is designed to hurt. They're not designed to mend. They're not designed to put things back together. They're not designed to restore. They're designed to hurt. Why? Hurt people. And if you have somebody that has never gotten over their pain, that has never gotten over their hurt, I wish I had a church, that has never gotten over the brokenness in their life, you see the signs. Whether you're in a relationship with them, whether you're married to them, whether you're in a friendship with them, you see the signs of their brokenness. And when you decide to walk with this person, and when you decide to unite with this person, you yourself are entering into what I consider a risk place. You are taking the risk that this person potentially, but the problem that I have with folk, especially by the time they get to me and they want to talk, you recognize the risk. You know this person's track record of hurt and pain and brokenness, but yet you decided to go ahead and be a part of this person's life in whatever capacity. So now that they've hurt you, now it's time for them to pay. No, baby, they ain't paid for the last 20 people they hurt. Why? Because that's who they are. That's their MO. That's what they do. And just because it's you, and just because you say sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and God said touch not mine, yeah, all that don't matter. Because the reality of it is, that's who they are. They hurt people. So this is my question. At what point do we get to the place where we become human? I just wish I had some folk. Where we become human enough that we can stop and say, you know what? I'm charging you up for some forgiveness that you ain't never gave nobody else. For some remorse that I've never seen you give anybody else, for an ability to try to mend some things, but that's not who you are. Stop charging folk up and requiring them to be somebody that they're not. Stop holding on to baggage, stuff folk done to you 10, 15, 20 years ago because you still hurt. Baby, the reason why they done moved on is because that's who they are. And that's what they do. And every time they reach a roadblock with you, or done whatever they need to do with you, they go on to their next victim. But you still sitting here hurt. And granted, let me just say this as a disclaimer. There are some things that you go through with people that, yes, it's going to take some strategic healing processes for you to get over it and for you to be okay. Listen, I'm here. This is what I do. I do this. This is who I am and what I do. I get that. But I'm talking about these things that people do to us when we recognize that they are, when they have, I'm trying to be politically correct on live, when we recognize they have an inability to love you the way you need to be loved, to respect you at the level that you should require, and to treat you in the manner that you know you should be treated. When you allow someone else's disrespect, when you allow someone else to come in and mistreat your life, when you allow that, don't charge them up, baby. Charge yourself. Because guess what? You opened the door and allowed them in. And if you ever saw a trace of inconsistency, if you ever saw a trace of brokenness, if you ever saw a trace of them being too hurt, too broken, too needy to be able to respect, love, and to give you what you needed at the level where with you required, it's not their fault if you kept opening the door. It's not their fault if you kept answering the phone. It's not their fault if you kept going out spending their money. It's not their fault if you kept dealing with them even though they were deficient in what they could give you. I wish I had, man, listen. You can't blame them. So now we got to look at the part that we play in pacifying the deficiency in other people. Because let me tell you something. You are not responsible for people, but you are responsible for telling them the truth. Listen, I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink. But I am responsible for that you are drinking is the water that's going to kill you. So I am responsible for saying, hey, bro, listen, I respect you and I think you're a cool cat, but there's some things that you do and the way that you do things that I'm going to be honest, it's really going to hinder you from having successful relationships, successful friendships, because that right there is a form of deception. It's a form of manipulation. It's a form of something that's not only deteriorating your relationships, but it's causing a major deficiency in you. At what point do we love folk enough to tell them the truth? And then the flip side of it is, at what point do we grow up? Listen, I live to work with people that have hurt and have pain and have baggage and stuff like that. Listen, y'all, I live to work with people like that because I've walked that path. But at what point, when I start counseling and talking to 40, 50, I'm saying 35, 40, 50, 60-year-olds who still holding on to baggage that somebody done did. If you still holding on to something that somebody did to you 15, 20 years ago, we need to talk. Because at some point, and this ain't even about Christianity, even though I'm a Christian and y'all know that, but at some point, your maturity level ought to get you in a place where you start looking at this thing and being able to discern that person and who they really are. Am I looking at somebody who is intentionally going out here hurting people and destroying lives, or am I looking at somebody that has a deficiency and they've never been told the truth about where they really is going on in their life? And then am I really gonna hold them accountable to the point where I'm going to charge them up because they can't give me what I think they ought to give me, when the truth of it is they can't? Sometimes you got to forgive people even for the things that they don't even know they got to give you or they need to give you. Sometimes you got to forgive people because even though in your limited mind you feel like they know better, sometimes you got to forgive them because really and truly they just may not. They may have gone through this path of deficiency so much that this has become their norm. And what you're telling them is abnormal because it's not the way that they operate. It's not how they do things. I give you a prime example. I dated a guy, and going into my relationship with this guy, I knew that I knew he liked the ladies, and I knew the ladies liked him. And in our relationship, he would have conversations with other females. He was a flirt and all this kind of stuff. And for the first year and a half, I used to get so mad about it. Well, we ended up breaking up, and then we ended up getting back together, and I changed my process because I was so busy trying to control who he talked to outside of us that I didn't focus on what he wasn't giving me inside of us. Got me? And one day we had a conversation, and I said to him, I said, the truth that I know about you is that you're a flirt. You like talk to other females. Other females like to talk to you. You like to be in their face, all this kind of stuff. But that's something that I knew coming in. I told him the question that I have to ask myself is, how long am I willing to allow that? How long am I willing to allow that without that? Hold on, child. Y'all, I got to charge my phone. Okay. How long am I willing to allow you to continue doing that before I recognize that that's not only a deficiency within you, but it's a deficiency that's coming between us, and therefore will be one that will hurt me? And that's what you got to ask yourself. First of all, what you doing, is it hurting me? Is it causing me to lose stress? To have stress? Is it causing me to lose my joy and lose my peace? If it is, I got to isolate this thing. Because anytime something that you doing is making me change who I am, I've got to turn away from you and what you doing. And I got to get back over here and get myself restored. That's your first thing, baby. To thine own self be true. Stop feeling like you got to put up with somebody. And listen, it could be your husband, your spouse, your wife doing some things. And I'm not telling you to divorce them. But what I am telling you is stop feeling as if you have to completely change who you are, or you take on stuff so much that it brings you to a place of anxiety or no joy or no peace and all this stress and all this weight and all this pain. If that's what it's doing to you, one of two things. Either A, you got to confront that thing and have a I'm like Larry Reed, you got to have a conversation. Or B, you've got to raise up in here. Because there's something deficient in here that's making you feel like you got to just sit back and take it and not fight back. And I'm not saying fight back by being physical or being rude or disrespectful, but I'm saying that open your mouth and tell somebody what they're doing is hurting you. It's hurting you. It's causing pain in your life. It's causing stress in your life. It's causing you to not have joy. It's causing you to not have peace. Not simply because of what they're doing, because what they're doing is causing you to respond in a way that's leaving you deficient. So now not only do you have to identify the thing that's happening, but you got to identify why it's causing you to be that way. Because at the end of the day, it's not what happens to you. It's how we react to it. And then the other side of it is learn to let stuff go. We got to walk through life and let it go. Listen, life is too short. Y'all got to learn to let some stuff. Listen, let it go. Oh, my God. Let go. Take that junk. Take that mess. You are missing out on life by holding on to what these folks have done to you, what these folk done said to you, how these folk have treated you. Listen, let it go. L-I-G it. Throw it over into the sea of forgetfulness. Because here's the thing. How is it that you want God to let stuff go that you done, but you can't let stuff go that other folk done to you? Hello? I'll say it again for the people in the back. How is it that you want God to forgive you and let go of stuff that you done, but you can't forgive other folk and let go of stuff they done? I'll wait. You ain't got to write no letters. I'll wait. That's not fair. But here's the truth about it. The truth is, everybody that does stuff to you and that violates you in your life, baby, listen, although they may be worthy of you being upset and you being in a place with them, but sometimes you got to let it go because it's more advantageous for you in your life to let that thing go so that you can move on and you can be free rather than to hold that baggage that will deny you from getting to where you're going to go. Let me tell you a story. I was at the airport the other day. and I was getting ready to get on my plane. And as we were going around to go through the security checkpoint, there was a lady on the other side, and she had her bags open, and she was unpacking some stuff, just kind of throwing some stuff out, putting it on the side. And I told my friend, I said, what in the world is she doing? My friend girl said, oh, I don't know, but oh my God, she was rushing. And I was like, oh. So by this time, the lady, finished whatever she was doing, and she rushed right past us and went back up to the security point. And we was like, okay. So by the time we got up there to start taking our shoes off, to go through, she was still there with this TSA agent. And I said, ma'am, are you okay? I was trying to be, I said, ma'am, are you okay? She said, yeah. She said, my bag is past the weight limit, and I had to take some stuff out, and my flight, like, they're getting ready to board in a minute, and I don't want to miss my flight, so I was trying to rush and just throw some stuff out on the side. I'm just going to have them throw it away. She said, so that my bag can pass clearance in order to be able to get on this flight and go where I have to go. And by the time, it didn't hit me right then, but by the time I got around, by the time I got around on that other side of the checkpoint, I said, wait a minute. And I was telling my friend girl, I said, you know what? That's so much like us in life. We have so much baggage, and we don't realize why we haven't walked through the doors that God has for us. We don't realize why we haven't been able to shift and do some of the things that God has us to do. We don't realize why we haven't been able to turn around the corner and shift into another dimension of life. We don't realize that it's so much weight of baggage, so much stuff that we're holding on to that's hindering us and keeping us from being able to go into the next step and the next stage of our life. So we stay stuck and we stay complacent in this place that you've outgrown. You're too big for the place that you're in. Your arms are breaking past the capacity that you're in. The place that you're in can't even hold you, but the place that you're meant to go can't even accept you. I wish I had a witness right there. The place that you're in, baby, listen, you've outgrown it. It can't hold you. It don't have capacity for you. But the place that you're meant to go, it can't even receive you because you don't even recognize who you are yet. You haven't even met the requirements to even get to that place because you're still holding on. The new place is telling you that you can bring in 30 pounds worth of stuff. But the old place that you in, you done stuffed 100 pounds. You got to let some stuff go. You got to let some people go. You got to let some things go. You got to let some situations go. Boo. Let it go. My God, today. Listen, let it go. Half of the folk that done hurt you don't know no better. Can I just tell you that? Half the folk that have violated you and hurt you in this lifetime, baby, they didn't know no better. And let me give you the other side. The other half knew better, knew what they was doing, and they did what they did. What? Who gonna check them, boo? But you gotta make up your mind. Am I gonna be stuck right there? Am I gonna be stuck and hindering myself from being able to shift into who I am and where I'm meant to be and the things? Listen, when you don't let that mess go and that stuff, and I gotta get ready to get off here, y'all. I got somewhere to go. If you don't let that stuff go and that stuff festers in your heart and your spirit, what happens is it sets up and it clogs your ability to be able to see things clearly. It distorts your thinking. It distorts your vision. It distorts your perception. So when you should be seeing one way, you start seeing shading, you start seeing another way. Paranoia sets up and all that. So you miss out on a whole lot of great opportunities because you couldn't see them as good opportunities. You couldn't see them as positive doors that God was opening. Why you couldn't see it? Because your heart and your mind is cluttered with a whole bunch of mess and junk, unforgiveness and hurt and pain. Do your hard work. Something got to change. That's my book. Something has to change. You got to get to a point where you say, you know what? Yeah, he did me wrong, but I'm not willing to let that hinder me from my destiny. You know what? She did that. She messed over me, but I'm not willing to allow that to hinder me from reaching my destiny. At some point, we got to be mature enough. I don't even want to talk about us being Christian enough. We got to be mature enough as human beings to say that what somebody else did to me, it's all right. It's cool. You got that one, but you won't get another one. You did it that time, but you won't do it no more. Because when somebody does violate you that way, you grow up. You mature. You ask the hard questions. What did I do to allow them to come through an open door in my life and handle me that way? What did I do? What happened that I let all my guards down and I trusted them even when I knew in my mind I should probably have some issues? What happened that I didn't, force them to do right or to do what I needed them to do? What happened? And the thing that happened is sometimes you trust people too long. Sometimes you stay in relationships and friendships too long. Sometimes you stay in situations that question you too long without opening your mouth. And what I'm telling you today, as I hurry to a close, is even when you do that, there's grace for you to be able to give forgiveness to the people that hurt you. Got me? And I'm finna say something and this gonna hurt some feelings, but it's okay because I am who I am. A lot of people say, just pray about it, it's gonna be okay. Let me tell y'all something about that statement. Stop thinking that everybody else's prayer life is like yours. Stop thinking that everybody else really got faith. The Bible says if he that comes to him must first believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. That's number one. Number two, it's a lot of folk that go to church and that pray and their life still jacked up. So if just get down on your knees and pray about it is the answer, then we still wouldn't be going to church jacked up. We still wouldn't be praying jacked up. We still wouldn't be going to church and praying and still can't forgive folk. I wish I had a church. So apparently there's a disconnect. Apparently there's a disconnect that's happening, even with us that's in the body of Christ. I want to say that as a disclaimer. Apparently there's a disconnect. There's some work that we're not doing on the inside of us. Yeah, I want you to pray. But when you pray, I want you to believe that he exists and that he's going to give you what you ask for. Because if you don't have faith when you get down on your knees, if you don't have faith when you read that word, you might as well put it to the side and not do anything about it. Back to what I was saying, forgiveness. Sometimes you gotta be able to give forgiveness to people that you deep down in your heart feel don't deserve it. A, because you want somebody to forgive you. B, because sometimes they don't know no better. Sometimes they've been so hurt, they've been so pained that their thinking and their processes are distorted. And they don't even realize that the way they're handling people is deficient and that it's wrong and that it's causing so much pain like it is. And number two, sometimes they intentionally did what they did to you. And guess what? That's okay. They did it one time. Get yourself together so they don't do it twice. So my plight tonight is to encourage you. Baby, listen, let it go. Some of y'all need to get pen and paper and write down some of these offenses that folk have done to you and make up your mind to let this stuff go. Throw it in a fire, throw it somewhere if that's what you need to do in order to physically manifest this thing. But it's a whole lot of stuff that we just got to learn how to let go, y'all, so that we can move on and do something greater and we can be greater. Look, I want to see you win. All I do is win, win, win. No matter, I want to see you win. I want to see you be grand. I want to see you be great. And I want to see you reach everything that God has for you. Because can I tell you something? He has a plan for every last one of you. And I want to see you meet that. I want to see you walk in that. And I want to see you ascertain everything that he has for you. The Bible says the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. I want you to walk in that place with your head up high, being able to look any person in their face because you are okay with you. Don't let somebody else and what they've done get you out of relationship with you. No, baby. Take care of your relationship with you. Forgive them. Give them a free ticket to move on and keep doing whatever they doing with whomever they doing with. It's okay because you are good with you. And you're not holding them hostage. See, when you don't forgive people, you're holding them hostage. And you're letting them know that what they did to you has some kind of power over you. You know what I'm saying? If they walk in the room and you get mad, be like, oh, yep, they got control. Because when they walked in, they was able to change your mood. If you live with them and they walk in the house and you be like, oh my God, yep, they got control. Because they was able to change your mood. Baby. Nobody should be able to do that. Nobody should have that kind of control over you. Get that thing together, boo. Sis, bro, get that thing together. Forgive these folk. Let them know, you know what, I forgive you. And even if they don't even remember what they did, and they don't, look, one of mine, I had to tell them, you know what, I don't think you recognize that you've offended me. But I want you to know that you have. But at the end of the day, I forgive you. And I set my boundaries. It's just probably best that we don't communicate on a friendly level, because how you operate is not conducive for me, because I value myself and I value those that are in my life, and I'm not going to let somebody else come in my life hurt me and devalue me and the folk that's in my life. So I have to set my boundaries, but I have to first be honest with him and tell him, look, boo-boo, you done offended me. And if you've offended me with what you've done, I know you've offended somebody else, but they probably ain't told you because they probably ain't crazy like me. I don't care, because who gonna check me, boo? I'm gonna tell you what you've done to offend me. And I'm going to set the boundaries that are required for my life, because I value me. And I'm going to tell you what you can and what you cannot do to me. And if you choose to honor what I say, we can walk together in agreement. But if you dishonor what I say, then the buck stops there. And guess what? I ain't mad. I ain't mad. I'm just done. I'm not upset. I'm just done. I'm not being mean. I'm just doing what I have to do for me. And that's what you need to do, boo. You need to take care of you. Get all the junk out of your heart. Forget these folks so you can move on and do what you got to do in life. Because where you're going is so much greater than where you've been. Can I say that again for the people in the back? Where you're going. Where you're going. What he has around the corner for you. And I'm going to say this tonight before I go. Oh my gosh, I got to get to where I got to get to for 9. Some of you have walked through some hard times. Can I just minister to you tonight? Some of you have walked through some hard places. You've walked through some hurt. You walked through some pain. And I'm talking specifically tonight. You've walked through some hurt. You walked through some pain. You've walked through some betrayal. You've walked through people lying on you, scandalizing your name. You've also walked through some places of shame and guilt. Can I also tell you this? Sis, bro, whichever one I'm talking to, before you forgive other folk, you may have to sit down somewhere and forgive yourself. You may have to forgive yourself for the choices that you made that led you into some things that you shouldn't have been in. You may have to forgive yourself for allowing things to happen when you knew, that may not be the best thing for me. And guess what? It's okay. There's nothing that happens in life that we can't work through it. You got me? Like, you can work through it. Don't stop beating yourself up, as if you can't recover. Listen, sis, bro, can I tell you tonight at 8:37 Central Standard Time, you can recover from this. This is not the end for you. My favorite verse in the Bible is Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created. It did not say the very, 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 very beginning. And it did not say the last beginning. It said in the beginning. And what I always tell myself when I have to hit the reset button of life and start over is that in every beginning, God will create. Hey, in every beginning, the God that I serve will take a nothing and he'll make something. In every beginning of my life, the God that I serve will come out in the midst of my chaos. I wish I had a church tonight, because now I done shifted over. The God will come in the midst of my chaos, and he will create something beautiful. in the midst of my beginning, whenever I let stuff go and whenever I just surrender and I say, you know what, God, this is me. I did this. Deal with me. Help me start over. The thing I love about him, I say, is that he'll step in the midst of my situation, in my dark, let there be light. He'll step in the midst of my situation. He'll start creating. He'll start moving in the midst of my spirit and start filling me up where I'm empty. He'll start strengthening me where I'm weak. He'll start giving me wisdom and discernment. He'll start doing some things because it's my beginning. And sometimes in life, you got to hit the reset button, baby, and you got to start over. And it's okay. Listen, it's okay. Stop beating yourself up about it. You can always begin again. I don't care how old you are, and I don't care how long you've been in this thing. There's some stuff in this life that you're just going to have to reset from. And it's all good. Because I'm grateful that we can always begin again. So not only do you have to forgive them, but I need you to forgive yourself. I need you to forgive yourself for your choices. I need you to forgive yourself for the things that you've done and the things that you've allowed to happen. Because it's okay. It's okay. He's with you. He's carrying you. He's strengthening you. And last but not least, he's teaching you how to walk this thing out. And sometimes we forget how to walk it out. Got me? He's teaching you how to walk it out. I promise you good. You are good. You've gone through it. Now it's time to rise up and be as grand as he's called you to be. Listen, I love y'all with the love of the Lord. I just wanted to say tonight that I believe that sometimes we need to forgive other people. But not only do we need to forgive other people, but we really need to take some time to forgive ourselves. Tonight, I want to challenge you to get in your quiet place and really think about some things that you done walked through. If you sitting in a place and you don't have joy and you don't have peace, there's a reason for that. And you can't judge the hole in somebody else's soul when you got one in your own. So your obligation is to yourself and the deficiency that's happening right here. So I want to challenge you. If you find yourself stuck in a place where you don't have peace, you don't have closure, you don't have joy, I want to challenge you to take some time and deal with that. Find out what's going on in here that's causing you to be deficient like that. Because once you heal your hurt, you can forgive somebody else's hurt. I said, hey, once you heal your own hurt, it'll be real easy for you to forgive somebody else's hurt. Because even though you recognize the pain and what they did, you'll recognize the deficiency that's in them and the fact that they really didn't know no better. And even if they did, it's all good anyway. Because guess what? I'm not going to hold my life up because of something you've done to me. I love him greater than that, and I love myself greater than that. And I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure I get to the place that God has designed me to be. You can always begin again. Experience, it doesn't mean the end. It's comforting to know when you come to the end of your road, you can start over and begin again. You can start over and begin. Love y'all with the love of the Lord. Good night.